Hi friends, welcome to another video. Today it is a collaboration with FOLLYGON, aka Ben. If you're not familiar with Ben's work, he is a digital sculptor, and on his YouTube channel he shows tutorials and process videos of how he digital sculpts 2D character designs into creating 3D models of them. It's really, really cool. If you are interested in digital sculpting and learning more about it, definitely after this video, head over onto his channel and check it out. He also has a Gumroad and he has a kind of learning course where he really breaks down and shows you how to digital sculpt and make models. And yeah, so when he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do a collaboration with him, I was like, hell yeah, because I have always been a 2D artist and I've never seen my characters rendered in a 3D format. So basically how this video is going to go is in my video, I'm going to be showing you guys the process of me painting my character with acrylic gouache, and at the end of the video, I'm going to reveal the 3D render that Ben has created of my character, and I'm going to, right after this, film my reaction live while I reveal the illustration to you guys so that we get to react and see it together. And then over on his channel, he will be showing the reaction of him receiving my illustration before he did his 3D render and showing the process of creating my character as well. So yeah, for those of you who have come from Ben's video, my name is Tina. The internet kind of knows me as imawonder, and I'm primarily a traditional artist working with gouache, watercolors, markers, color pencils, you name it, I've probably tried it. So yeah, let's get into the video. Over on Ben's channel, FOLLYGON, he creates a wide array of different characters, and so while I don't personally have any original characters per se, I still wanted to provide him a character that felt quintessentially, quote unquote, I'm a wonder, so to speak. So I decided, I ended up revisiting this cute but tough gal that was very much inspired by Japanese schoolgirl gangs for this illustration. If you've been with my channel for a little bit, you've probably seen her before. And yeah, this color palette is probably one of my favorites, and I am a total sucker for pink hair and a sassy attitude. So I thought that it would make for a fun character, not only for me to illustrate again, but for Ben to translate into 3D. So for those of you who have not seen it yet, I actually broke down my entire acrylic gouache painting process from like the sketch all the way until the finished product in a previous video when I painted this character the first time. So I'd recommend checking that out if you are interested about more details of the actual painting process of me using acrylic gouache. But for today's video, I'm mainly going to be answering some really fun questions that Ben left for me. And over on his channel, I asked him a set of questions as well. And the questions that I'm going to be answering, some of them are art related and some of them are more fun rhetoric questions. Okay, so first question. What is one artistic tool, brush, etc. that you could not live without? This might seem silly or kind of anticlimactic, but the first thing that comes to mind for me is the Carmine Red Prismacolor Kohl Erase Sketching Colored Pencil. I know that's a mouthful, but for those of you who have been following my channel for a hot minute, you might already know that I almost exclusively sketch with these pencils. I remember actually a few months back, my usual art supply store was sold out of the Carmine Red pencil specifically for quite some time, and I got so worried that that color got discontinued, and at the time I had to settle for the vermilion red, which is fine but just wasn't quite the same. But thankfully it eventually came back, and so I stocked up and bought I think 5 or so because I legit swear by these pencils. admittedly, I have never tried any other erasable colored pencil brands, so I have nothing to actually compare it to, but I don't think I can even recall the last time I used a graphite pencil to draw with. They're just too smudgy for me, and I like having the colored pencil kind of peek through my paintings rather than a gray graphite pencil. Question number 2. If you could meet any artist, alive or dead, who would you choose and why? So in a Q&A video I did last month, a follower also asked me a very similar question, and in that video I had said Naoko Takeuchi, the creator of Sailor Moon, because she's basically a living icon at this point. And yeah, I just feel like I owe so much of who I am as a person and artist to Sailor Moon and the influence that it had on me growing up, and it's something that I still really love to this day. So I just can't deny the influence that it's had in my life. But if I were to choose a different person, perhaps Alexander McQueen, who unfortunately has passed away, but he was an incredible fashion designer who created such fierce and creative pieces. His work has been an endless source of inspiration for me as an artist. There have been many times when I have taken reference of his fashion designs in my own artwork. My particular favorites were from his Savage Beauty collection, and I so wish I could have seen them in person when they were on display at the Met. When I went to New York City for the first time, this was already a number of years ago now, but my friends and I had visited the Alexander McQueen storefront, and of course we knew we couldn't buy anything, but we thought it was worth checking out since we were in New York, and why not? And I remember one of the employees came up to us and excitedly asked if we were students and what school we attended. And I told him that we were graphic design students visiting from Canada. And I guess he was hoping that we were fashion design students, because he immediately became very sour and just sort of replied with a curt, "Oh," and turned his nose away at us from us, because it was very abrupt. And shortly after, I think I overheard him and another employee muttering to each other and say something along the lines of, God, they should just turn this place into a museum. Which, I mean, they weren't entirely wrong, because we definitely were just looking. But I mean, what's really the difference between us being graphic design students versus us being fashion design students? Either way, we're just admiring the pieces. We're not here to purchase anything. Plus, there was no one else in the store anyways, and so it's not as though we were taking up space or their time, really. Anyways, that's my random tangent about visiting the Alexander McQueen store. But yeah, if you've never seen his work before, you should definitely check it out. It's amazing. What is the most difficult thing for you to paint? Okay, so like most artists, I'm sure, I have a hard time drawing and rendering hands, but if we're talking strictly painting and not drawing, I would actually have to say it would be hair. I often leave it pretty minimal or more graphic looking in my illustrations, because half of the time I just don't really want to be bothered. I just find that it's a really hard thing to tackle. I'm not sure what it is. I think that the way that I've rendered it, a lot of the times it looks too uniform or something. I don't know. I have to work on it. But yeah, I definitely envy those who can make their hair look really, really dynamic and full of life and energy and depth. It's definitely one of the many things on my mental list of areas I want to improve on with my work. I definitely need to do more studies in my sketchbooks. What is the most recent movie, TV show, book, etc. you have consumed? How was it? The most recent movie I watched was Howl's Moving Castle, which I have already seen like 1,000 times already, but Canada's Netflix just recently got all of the Studio Ghibli films, so of course I couldn't resist. And for those of you who've seen my screen cap redraw of Howl, you'll already know how much I love the film. And currently, the 5th season of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars is airing, and I have been watching it every week. I'm 100% rooting for Shea Coulee and Jujubee, both queens that I really, really love. I feel like the cast of queens for this season is really strong, but unfortunately so far the challenges haven't been nearly as exciting, and the drama has been fairly minimal, and all of these queens keep voting themselves to go home, which is not exciting either. So I'm really hoping that the energy levels start to pick up soon, because it's feeling a little lackluster. And lastly, as some of you may know from my other videos recently, I have been rewatching a whole host of TV shows as well. Inuyasha, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Cardcaptor Sakura, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's a lot, I know. But basically, I've just been kind of flip-flopping between all of them depending on my mood, and that way they all last as long as possible. And yeah, they're all just very nostalgic and bring me a lot of comfort and joy. I'm a total sucker when it comes to animated TV shows and movies, clearly. And next on my watch list is Knives Out. I remember hearing from a coworker and a couple friends that they found that the movie was really, really good. They liked it a lot. So it's, yeah, I saw it's recently been uploaded to Amazon Prime. So hoping to give that a watch next. What would be your dream IP to work on? You get to choose whatever you want and you get to pick what the project is. This is a really fun question. So I actually had to think about it quite hard because for whatever reason, I really wanted to make it count, as if, you know, me putting it out into the universe means like it could happen one day, which obviously is totally not the case. But anyways, my dream project would be to work on turning Wicked, the Broadway musical, into a 2D animated film. And when I say that, I'm talking in the same vein, style, format as like the classic Disney Renaissance animated musicals, like the Little Mermaid or Aladdin, for example. That's what I'm thinking. So for those of you who have seen the video where my friend and I drew Disney characters from memory, you will probably know that I'm a bit of a diehard for those classic animated movies. And I think that the characters, the story, and especially the music from Wicked would translate so well in that format. So I definitely don't know a single thing about actually animating. So if I were to work on a project like this, I would love to be the one to perhaps do some of the character designs, mainly for Elphaba and Glenda, of course. I've gotten to see the musical when it came to Toronto a number of years ago, and it's amazing. And since then, I've actually been wanting to do some fan art of the two of them. So now that I'm talking about this, maybe I should finally get around to that. If you never got into art, what would replace it? I think I've talked a little bit about this before, but I would be totally screwed if the arts was not an option for me. That's like the core of who I am. But I gotta say, art can be interpreted in a broad sense. So for my own sake, I'm going to say that in this question, art is specifically referring to illustration and painting. So if I wasn't an illustrator, I think that perhaps maybe I would be a makeup artist, which technically is still an art form in and of itself, of course, but truly I don't think I am capable of anything that isn't remotely creative. So yeah, I really love makeup, and when I was in college, I actually often did my friends' makeup whenever we would, go out partying or whatever. And so yeah, I think that if, being a painter, an illustrator, content creator wasn't an option, then I think potentially being a makeup artist might make sense for me. And, you know, whether it would be for like runway, editorial shoots, or even special effects makeup, that would be really cool, actually. That would be cool. That'd be, Now I'm like, maybe I should have done that. No, I'm just kidding. You wake up one day finding that whatever you paint comes to life. What is the first thing you create? All right, so when we say come to life, I'm going to assume becomes a reality in the physical form and not like a living creature or bringing actual life into an inanimate object. So like if I were to paint like a basketball, it's not gonna like become a pet or something. So if we're talking like, you know, whatever I paint becomes like a real object or whatever, I would say that I would create the most idyllic little house for myself. I would pick out the perfect layout so that I'd have a nice little studio space, maybe a little backyard with a patio, and of course all the decor in the house would be cute AF. Basically, I would just try to paint my dream home and put it in an ideal location. Even though painting interiors and like buildings and stuff is kind of a hard thing for me, that would be worth it if I could bring it to life. What is one artistic medium that you would like to try but never have? So I have dabbled in quite a number of different mediums, as you may have seen from my channel if you're familiar with my work. But I will say, I think the next thing on my list is ceramics. It's something completely different from what I've tried before, and I just love the idea of creating my own planters, decorative dishes, and particularly, I've been seeing a lot of artists make their own custom painting palettes, which I have been really, really keen on. I think that would be so fun. I would love to create really fun shapes and be able to choose how large my different painting sections would be and things like that. However, ceramics is definitely something that requires a lot of equipment and expertise. I, couldn't just willy-nilly purchase a firing kiln or anything like that. So I think at some point down the line, I would love to take a class or workshop so that I can just use proper facilities that are already there, and of course have guidance from an actual ceramic artist, because as I said, I'm definitely a 2D artist, and 3D anything is actually something that I have a really hard time doing. So yeah, having an instructor would probably be pretty helpful. But in a similar vein, something that I've been really wanting to jump into in the more immediate future is polymer clay. So mainly to make, handmade earrings and pins. I've been seeing a lot of artists create really fun, unique designs. And unlike ceramics, this is definitely something that I think can be much more easily accessible, and I can acquire those supplies and basically teach myself from YouTube videos, I'm sure. I really love big statement earrings, and I think it would be really fun to be able to create some for myself. And hey, if they turned out pretty decent and someone's interested, maybe I could sell them too. Who knows? Maybe it could be, a side venture. I don't really know. All right, second last question. You are suddenly flung 1,000 years into the future. You can bring back one piece of technology to the present day. What do you bring? So, of course, we don't actually know what 1,000 years into the future is going to look like. So basically, I get to make up an invention and then I get to bring it back, right? So I definitely would want some kind of technology that allows us to teleport. I really love traveling and going to new places, but the actual traveling part is awful. Like flying in planes, taking long bus rides, dealing with all of that nonsense, it's a nightmare. So if we could just instantly be in a new location, no matter the distance, that would be incredible. It would save so much time and making, going to new countries and cities so much easier. And I could, hit up way more locations in a much faster, more efficient manner. Maybe, I'm trying to think. Maybe it would be something like the Floo Powder Network in Harry Potter, where you just sort of like hop into, maybe not a fireplace, like some kind of pod, and then, maybe not powder, maybe it would just be like a button, kind of like an elevator. I don't know. The technology isn't here yet, so who knows what it would actually look like if teleportation would be possible. All right, and our very last question. What is your favorite artistic medium and why? So for me, it's definitely a toss-up between watercolors and acrylic gouache. I am such an indecisive person, so I don't know if I could ever really pick one over the other. It kind of depends on my mood, which one I prefer that day. I really switch between the two as in terms of being my favorite, and sometimes I even use both of them in one illustration anyway. So yeah, they both are so different, I think, is why it's hard to just narrow it down to one. Like, watercolors are transparent, so when you use them and layer them, they have this really unique luminosity and glow about them, whereas gouache is a very opaque medium, and what that does, it makes it feel very rich and velvety when you work with them. They have such different looks to them. And yeah, each medium achieves completely different results in the way that I use them, I think. And both of them pose many different challenges, but I really do love them equally. Admittedly, if I spend a long time using one medium and then suddenly switch over to the other, sometimes it actually takes me a moment to get used to it again, because you have to approach them so differently. And so yeah, when I go back into a medium that I haven't used in a while, it ends up being a new learning curve all over again. And my process is always just trial and error and a lot of panic until things start to look better as it progresses. And yeah, I think that's why it makes it so difficult for me to explain my process to people sometimes, and is why I haven't really wanted to make a tutorial, because it's just not a linear path in my process. But that was a bit of a tangent. So that's my answer. Bit of a runaround. So that concludes all of the questions. They were super fun to answer, and I hope that you guys got some entertainment out of it as well. We're pretty much nearing the end of the process of this illustration. I had so much fun working on it. The jacket proved to be really difficult, but I'm glad that I was able to kind of work it out in the end. And I'm sure that a lot of you are anticipating the final reveal of the 3D render, and I'm excited to finally reveal it for you right now. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed seeing the process of me creating my cool Japanese girl gang boss. Now I am finally going to open up Ben's email that contains the final render of my girl in his 3D format, and I have my iPad over here so that I can open it up and see it for the first time with you guys. Oh my God! I'm gonna have it up on screen for you guys. Can you see it? Is it an amazing? Ben. This is so cool. Like, I can't. Man, oh my God, you nailed the lighting. I knew that, like, because I'm not a 3D artist, so I did all these things. I feel like with my illustration that probably posed as a challenge for you. Like, you nailed that hair. The hair looks so good. And you even got like the blue in the eye, like around the irises. the eyelashes. I know my eyelashes, when I draw them, they're like really crazy. Oh my God. And then the details in the jewelry. Her hands look so nice. Like oh my God, the nails, like they look so fierce. Yeah, you got all the little details so spot on. And yeah, you got her expression. Like those eyebrows are really, really fierce. And like the pouty lips, everything. Oh my God. And I was wondering how you were going to do kind of that purpley pink lighting that I did on the jacket especially. And I can see it. Like you really did it. I wasn't even sure you were going to put in like the blue background. That was like a throwaway for me. I am so blown away. This is amazing. This is so cool. Now I want her to be like a real figurine. Like that's what it looks like to me. I want her, a physical, tangible little figurine of her, just to like fiercely look at me at my desk while I work. Oh, amazing. Okay. I can't stop looking at it. Okay, so guys, seriously, go and check out Ben's channel. You'll see plenty of more awesome 3D renderings like this, and you'll get to see on his video the process of him creating this amazing recreation of my character. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I have been very, very much anticipating this reveal and showing it to you guys. I hope that you had fun with this reveal and seeing the process, and I will see you guys in next week's video for another exciting, I'm really excited for next week's video too. So yeah, see you next time. Bye.